Hello and welcome to this crash course for the Tipify system. So we're going to start off with tip jars themselves. You can create as many as you like, and when you create a tip jar, you're going to need to have an associated product. Now, let's just go over to our products here. We've created a number of products already. You'd have your typical products such as we've got here an example test product, but you'd also have your staff members. And all you have to do is just create yourself a new product. You can give it a common product type such as a tip. Give it a name and a description that's used on the tip modal for the checkout. And you can use one or more price points. So if you're just going to use a single price point of $1 so that the end user can choose as much as they want to tip you in increments of $1. We'll show you how this works on the checkout in a moment here. But you can also use a multi-variant product. I'll show you another example here. So this is an example, Jennifer here. She has a number of items here, and we've given them labels. So for example, $5 for a cup of coffee. It's a pretty steep cup of coffee. Lunch, $15, manicure, pedicure, dinner out, and whatever. However, we've also included a $1 price point. What that's going to do is that's going to allow the end user, if they want to choose a straight dollar figure when they go through checkout. In addition to these products here, we've also set up a customer service product. We've called it a group tip. It's really no different from the other items here. We've just given it a product type of group tip. And we've given them price points here. Nothing specific, but we've just set some price points. And then let's go back to the Tipify app. And we're going to see that the difference between the department tips, which is a collection, and each of the other tip jars is simply just that the department tip jar includes a product collection, and in that there are two products, the customer service and the technical support teams. So let's go back to Jennifer's tip jar. We're going to see here the only difference here is that she is just an individual product, and you can change the tip jar. For example, if you decided that you didn't want to use tip jars for an individual person, perhaps you wanted to do, say, night supervisor or telephone salesperson, then maybe that changed as your business changed. You can change this as well. There's a number of different configurable items here. This option makes this tip jar show up at checkout. I'll show you that in a moment. This is the tip button that's available for the custom tip option, as well as the styling. You can choose to use the default styles for your Shopify theme or set a custom color for background and text, but we'll just use the default styles. And then when it's placed on the page, whether or not you want it aligned right or left or default. You can also provide a custom description, which will also show up on the page if you want to just place a button code. So in our introduction video, we showed that we'd place buttons here which link directly to, technically just to a product. Okay, so sometimes you may just want to promote people on an about page, and in this case we've got our 3 staff members plus the tip jar button for the technical support or sales and service teams. So if we just say tip Jenny, it's just going to take us to a product. It's just a standard product, but we're trying to promote our staff members, and the end user can choose what they want to tip as. And if they want to just do a manual tip, they could add to cart and then just change the quantity to a set price point. Of course, that's a little awkward. So we have a slick option. I'll just show you that in a moment. We're just going to remove everything here. And that is that on this cart page, you'll notice that there's now an add a tip button. And you can enable or disable this, but it will show each tip jar that is available, that has been set to be displayed at checkout. And so what we can do here is, because Jennifer had a $1 tip amount, we can enter in a custom amount if we wish. Or there are these quick options, which are the other options that we set for her multivariant product. John doesn't have a $1 price point, so we just have just the other options. And Michael only had the $1 price point, so we just see that. As you notice, these are the custom tip labels, the button labels that we saw just earlier. Jennifer's was Tip Jenny Now. We can go take a look at that here. Tip Jenny Now. So we can change that if we wish. We just hit save, or just add an exclamation point to it. We'll reload. And we click add a tip again, and we can see now we've got an exclamation point there. So you can change all the verbiage here. So this is the product title, this is the product description, and of course you can change the labels as we see here in the general configuration area for the tip jar. So the general configuration area for the tip jar is just right here. And what we see here is this is the cart page manual prompt, which is the add a tip button. You could choose to enable that or disable that. It's up to you how you want to do it. This is the label that you see here, and of course you can configure the styling just as you can the other buttons. Then we have the auto prompt, and that's where the end user, just go back here, if they were to click checkout, it's also going to prompt them, and that's what the auto prompt is. And then if somebody enters an item here, or they hit no thank you, it will proceed to the next step of checkout. Okay. Whereas with just the standard tip button that shows up here, if you just add an item, although it will just move you along to the next checkout, if you were to hit the tip button and hit no thank you, it just closes the modal down. All right. Moving along here, there's a couple other configurable items. We'll see here there's the tip pop-up modal box area. This is where you can change the title for the modal box. We'll just go and bring that up here. That's the title here. Then we also have a description or message here. That's the next option here. And then we have the tip box custom tip prompt label. So that's choose a tip amount. That's this label here. So if we have a custom amount that we can define, that's that label. We have the custom tip placeholder. That's the placeholder message within the input field. And then the tip box variant selection label. This is what shows up if you have both a custom tip option, which is the $1 price point, and the multivariant other options. So say a $5, $10, $15 option. This shows up as a label as well. We'll just show you that. So that was the placeholder here, and then this is the other label that shows up in between. Now, if you only have just the standard quick select buttons here, then neither of those labels need to be shown. Whereas if you want to choose a custom tip amount, the first label is shown. Okay. Now I'm going to show you one other option here. We have the department tips, and that's a tip jar that technically contains or references multiple products by way of a collection. And so this references department tips. So if we go over to that particular collection, we'll actually find out that the collection is the tech support and the customer service teams together. Now let's go to customer service. We're going to find here that we have a tip amount of $5 and we just entered 5, 10, 15, 20. So if these things just match and they're the same value, say you didn't want to have a label per se for each value point, you just want to just say 5, 10, 15, 20. Then what will happen is when we go to add that particular product or particular tip jar to the checkout, available at checkout, yeah. We'll reload here. So we're going to hit add a tip. We're going to see that this is a little bit different here. You can see that it doesn't actually have the label as we saw here, because it wouldn't make sense to say $5 is 5, $10 is 10. We just eliminate the label and you just have the price point here. In addition, we can configure how the labels are displayed for these buttons if we wish. We can go to configurations, the general configurations, and then just down here is the variant preset button display. That's where we see right now we have a dollar value and then the variant title, or the variant name. We can change that to this layout, or if we wanted, just have the straight dollar amount. We can set that first option there. Also, we can configure the thank you button or the no thank you button, which is the cancel button. You can choose to have that say whatever you like, as well as the style of the cancel button. So for example, we'll just change the variant label. And we'll see that the label has changed here. So we have the label and then the price point in parentheses there. So that's all the features of the tip jar as it currently is. We think that it will help you raise funds for you or your staff, which should make them happier staff, which should make you happier customers, which will end up making you a stronger business. Anyways, we hope you enjoy.